Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about how to actually do sports regularly, how to start exercising on a regular basis, and how not to quit within 2 weeks, 1 month, or name your usual period when you say to yourself, no, it's not going to work this time. I think we all know that doing sports is essential to our health, to being energized, to longevity, and all those things that we tell ourselves when we try to motivate us into doing more sports on a regular basis. Especially those like me who have a sedentary lifestyle, working in corporate or just working for themselves, but still sitting a lot of time in front of the computer. And that's why it's very important to incorporate daily routines, daily sports routines into your busy life. And today I'm going to share some practical tips how to do this and how to make sure not to quit. So my name is Yulia and I used to be just like that. I think just growing up as a child, I was really not a sporty one. You know, I didn't have this hobby where I would go and play, I don't know, basketball or anything else. It always felt like it was more of a punishment doing sports. I was really a quiet child. I liked to spend times indoors, I don't know, read something, watch TV, anything else, but not involving a lot of movement. And this is funny because now I turn out to be completely different and I practice sports every day or almost every day, and if I don't, I even struggle to have any recovery days, which I know is not very good. But I really need to talk to myself every time and say no, but it's good for you, your body needs to recover, etc. And I have prepared some practical tips that I would like to share with you to help you transform your way of thinking about sports and proceeding with your daily sport routines. And I think one of the most common arguments is that you say to yourself that you need to have a gym, but actually these are all excuses. And honestly, you don't need anything to start doing sports regularly, except for being motivated and willing to do the effort, especially at first, when it's still kind of hard to incorporate and to change your lifestyle. And so you feel like you always need to push yourself to go to the gym or to do some activity, but you don't really want this. And you're kind of struggling to acquire this appetite for doing more sports. I really hope that this video will be helpful for you because, like I said, I used to be just like that. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What is your real motivation for doing sports? What I usually notice when I go to my gym is that there are a lot of people who always measure their weight after the training, and actually a lot of gyms put the weights over there for that reason, because I feel that a lot of people still go to the gym because they want to lose weight, and I have nothing against it. I just really want to emphasize the fact that going to the gym alone is not going to change anything about your weight. And for me, it should not be your primary motivation, because if it's the only thing that you're doing, for example, you come to the gym, you do a lot of cardio, and then you go home, you eat a lot, and you also say, oh my God, it's not my weight is not diminishing, what am I doing wrong? So you lose your motivation and you don't do any cardio anymore, for example. So just here to emphasize, if this is your primary motivation, in most cases, this is not going to be enough because it always starts in the kitchen. But anyways, actually it's a bit beside the point. But what I'm trying to say here is that you really need to understand what is motivating you when you are doing your sports. For example, when I was starting out years ago, before I actually incorporated and it became part of my daily routine, I might say, I just really wanted to incorporate more movement into my life. I really wanted also to kind of get into shape, because I started to work for a company and I got into this awful habit of coming back home from work really late and eating a lot of unhealthy foods. Like I remember I would prepare, I don't know, a pan full of pasta and I would sprinkle like some sauce that I would buy at a supermarket, and I would eat the whole thing. I was also living in Paris back then, and I would go to a boulangerie, which is like a bakery. There's an application which is called Too Good To Go, where you can just pick up everything, all the leftovers of the day from a specific place. And so I would just go and pick up a lot of pastries, a lot of bread basically, and I would eat like a half of it during one evening. Because of that, I really gained a lot of weight very quickly. And just one day I was trying some clothes on, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so freaking fat. And it just kind of dawned on me. I decided it was time to change things. I changed, first of all, my nutrition habits, which I'm sure of is the basics. This is what you really need to concentrate on if you want to lose weight. But at the same time, I wanted to get into shape, so I wanted to get some muscles maybe, but just to incorporate more movement into my life, because I was not moving much. I just decided there was a perfect timing to combine both. And so this is how I started to do sports basically almost every day. My goal was just to do some exercise every day. So it didn't really matter. I didn't have any objectives like, okay, I need to do like 20 push-ups, I need to do this, that, I need to be able to run at this speed. No, nothing of the kind. I just wanted to do something regularly. And so here, when you really kind of honest with yourself, why do you want to have more sports in your life? And maybe for different reasons, but I think you should really come clean with yourself and understand, okay, this is why I'm actually on this journey, because it's going to be easy for you to determine your objectives and to understand how to proceed with what you have. But once that you have sort of come clean with you about your motivation, so you should basically determine what your expectations are, and based on your motivation. And like I said, for example, in my case, I just said to myself, okay, I need to do something regularly. I don't care if it's going to bring any results. So it was really just for the sake of doing something, incorporating this habit into my life. And I think this is also very important, not to have a very big expectation at first if you are just starting out, because it might just prevent you from doing this on a regular basis. If you get demotivated very quickly, if you understand that your goal is actually not very realistic in the period of time that you have set for yourself, don't be too hard on yourself. Really expect nothing. Just try to put some sort of process goal like I did. So for example, say, okay, now I have, I don't know how many days you would like to do it a week, but say, okay, I'm going to do sports 5 days a week or 3 days a week. Anyways, just really create a routine and block some time when you're going to be doing sports. So for example, Mondays afternoon, whatever happens, I'm going to the gym or I am running or whatever. It's going to be easy and you will feel more organized and more motivated finally to do that if it's predictable, if you know in advance. At least that would be my advice for those who are really starting out. It's going to be so much easier to organize yourselves. So once you have determined what your expectations are, you can really move on to the next phase, which is really to try everything that you can. So try different group activities. So for example, if you go to a gym, make sure to choose a gym where they have group classes. I adore group classes, really. I think that a great part of my success in incorporating sports into my daily life is really starting with something that I really enjoyed. I started with a subscription program. I don't know if you know them, but they call Les Mills. I really, really love them. So I bought a subscription. It was not super expensive. I think there was a free trial, and I tried a couple of programs and I really, really liked it. So my advice would be for you to really try as many activities as possible, because I think we tend to concentrate on the activities that we know, which are not necessarily the best for us. Let me give you an example. One of the easiest activities that we think of when we try to take up sports is running, right? So because it's easy, we think you can just go outside and basically start running, right? You don't have to learn anything. That is not true in my opinion anymore, but I think that's how we reason usually when we start to run. And honestly, when I was trying to incorporate regular running into my routine, it was not very enjoyable for me, so I didn't really like it. And because of that, I think it couldn't really last, because it was clearly not the thing, the kind of sports that I prefer nowadays, for example. I mean, I think it's cool to have it as a part of your routine, cardiovascular exercises, so yes, it has its benefits. But I think that when you start, you really need to try as many things out as possible just to understand what's your favorite. For example, maybe you're gonna fall in love with yoga. Me, I'm not a great fan of. I do that from time to time, especially if it's a group class, because I need somebody to accompany me, otherwise it's just too slow. And if I have like a video of somebody doing yoga, it's difficult for me to go from the very beginning till the end because it's just too slow. I don't like slow-paced exercises. But it really took some time for me to discover myself and my interests. So really just what activity really works out for you. Just concentrate on having fun and enjoying yourself. Again, a personal example. When I was really doing sports every day for the first time after a very, very long break, I really found just one video with a body combat class, like a very specific one that I really liked. And I would do it on repeat every day. And my boyfriend would laugh at me for doing this, saying like, yeah, don't you want to change, etc. And I was like, no, because I love it. At the same time, it felt predictable because I learned it by heart and I knew how much effort I would have to put in, etc. So it was predictable, and for me it was a good factor because it helped me keep up. But at that time, I just really liked that specific class and I was taking it on repeat. And I didn't care. I would just come back home from work and I would say, okay, now it's like 45 minutes of that class and I'm happy. And actually, I really managed to do this for a quite long period of time, like I think for months. Back in the day, I didn't have any gym, so I was just coming back home, turning this on, and enjoying myself. So I would advise to do the same for you. So find the activity that you really like. It might be something like this, a digital form of training, and now you have really loads of things. You can have a lot of things for free available on YouTube. You can really find a person who you like and you can find their specifically designed programs, because a lot of people do that. There is such an abundance of choice nowadays that really you can find anything that you like. If you're more kind of a person who likes to be surrounded by people, or you like live classes, but find something, find like a studio, find a gym where group classes. I think at the beginning, if you don't really know what to do, it's better to either get like a personal trainer, a personal coach if you're ready for that, if you have the budget, or go to group classes, because once again, when I was going to the gym back in the day, I would just, do all those cardio things and that's it. It was not really giving me pleasure, but at the same time, I was kind of shy, I didn't know how to use all the machines, etc. So it was kind of not the best experience ever, I would say. That's why it's nice to be accompanied either personally or to go to a group training. Otherwise, yeah, for example, you might fall in love with running or doing some other outdoor sports. Go ahead and just have fun. Really, just don't put any objectives. Just try to enjoy the moment. Try to enjoy this moment after doing sports, to feel how your body perceives the exercise afterwards, and if it keeps you energized, if you're getting dopamine. So basically, this is how you are going to be getting into this habit of doing it regularly and enjoying yourself. And only then, after you have enjoyed yourself for a while, let's say, and you have maintained this routine for I don't know, I would say at least a couple of months or even more. Then you can really look back, you can try to track your progress, because even if you weren't trying to achieve anything, maybe you feel stronger than you used to be. Maybe you have increased your speed while running, etc. So maybe you still kind of feel some light progress, even if you didn't have any specific objectives. And you can see, okay, so now I think I might be ready to set some objectives, to do something else, to incorporate some other routine. At least this is how it happened to me, because at first I was just really having fun. I was doing a lot of group classes, and then all of a sudden I understood, okay, but now I really want to move on. I want to level up. I want to be able to do specific exercises, so to speak, specific movements. Once I understood this, it became clear that I really need to incorporate some things that I don't really like, for example, like stretching, mobility. These are not my favorite types of exercise, but they can really help me advance and get to the things that I really want to achieve, even if they're not directly linked. Everything is really interconnected. Keep having fun. Honestly, it's better to have regular physical activity in your life without a specific training plan. So yes, okay, maybe you're not going to be doing enough cardiovascular exercises, etc., which are still very important, but it doesn't mean that you really need to get into this straight. You might really hang in there and just keep enjoying yourself for quite some time before you're ready to move on to the next level. And it might last for some time, and it's fine. The most important thing for you at this stage is really to understand that sports is very good for you, and it's absolutely feasible to incorporate it into your daily routine. But for this, you really need to start slow and to enjoy it. This way, you will really get used to doing sports, and it's going to become a part of your routine. So you're not going to be asking too many questions if you want to do this or not. And I would say this is level one, when you're just not asking questions. And then the place where I am now, it's where you really want to do this. It's one of the best part of your day. It's when you are active, you're doing sports, your favorite types of sports, and you are feeling amazing. I really hope that this video has been helpful for you and you have enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any comments or any questions below. I would be happy to answer. I wish you a lot of good luck on your journey to a healthier lifestyle.